Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Real Deal, where I preach to you about the straight truth that you're not going to find on social media. You're not going to find on Google or any of these other search engines. They cover that stuff up. You probably wouldn't even find it if you went to the government head itself. But I appreciate you tuning in and listening. I hope you learned something, and I hope you take what you learn and run with it and try to change the world for the better for everybody like we're supposed to. So let's start the day off today with a little quiz. Pop quiz, hot shot. Which president of the United States of America in the last 76 days of his term gave $93 billion, that's billion with a B, $93 billion worth of loans to energy loans, supposedly going to small businesses and green groups? I'll give you a hint who it was. I got hairy legs, and I love kids jumping on my lap. I learned about roaches. Corn Pop was a bad dude. Yeah, that's right, Joey Biden, one of the worst presidents this country ever had. He wasn't a president. He was nothing but a freaking puppet being controlled by everybody else. The man couldn't even speak a coherent sentence. But in the last 76 days of his office, which did not do good for the American economy or for really anybody, except, rich politicians like himself and his friends. But he lent out $93 billion of taxpayers' money. That's my money, that's your money. And it went to they were energy loans, what they say. It went to the Department of Energy. And it went to their loan programs office, the LPO. And supposedly it was supposed to go for a lot of good, positive things, at least it's said on paper. It was supposed to help a lot of small businesses in Wisconsin and all over the country. But the funny thing is, the money can't be traced. There's no accountability for it. A lot of these groups didn't get any money. The small mom and pop companies that were going to thrive off this, they're out of business. They're gone. I don't know if you've been in any big cities lately across America, but mom and pop stores don't exist like they used to. Heck, man, we got Rite Aid going out of business. Kroger just said they're going to shut down 60 stores. I mean, we're talking chain outfits, man. You go into malls now and it's like vacant buildings and stores in there. It's like, it's hurting bad, people. But anyway, a lot of these small businesses that it was supposed to go to were brand new green group businesses. And this is all truth. I've researched everything, people. I just don't speculate like everybody else does. If I have a conspiracy theory, it came true. It's real. Like Project Looking Glass. Look into that someday. We'll talk about that someday. But that's real stuff. But they don't want you to know that. MK Ultra, that was the real deal. We'll get to that someday. But hey, let's talk about this. It went to small businesses, green groups, that several of them just started just a month or two before they got the money. So who got that money? Where did my money go? Where did your money go? Like I said, the small businesses were like, hey, we didn't get anything. Where's our money? They're gone. And where did all these green groups come from? Started, 2 months before he left? And then, boom, you don't know who they are. I mean, you're talking about a man that was a career politician, a senator. In all those years, I don't know how people like that get reelected. He didn't do anything ever except vote along party lines. And when he did speak up his mind, they shut him down because they're like, no, like his boy Obama. No, Joe, no, you can't say that because we got to control the masses, control the asses. Get it, Joe? I'm just a puppet too. Joe was like, I got hairy legs. I know, Joe. I know. Go sit down. I'll tell everybody what to do. I mean, we're talking some of the worst presidents in this country. They didn't do anything. Man, don't even get me started on Obama. I'm going to go off on him one of these days about... That's a whole nother podcast, people. That man was horrible. He was horrible for the black folks in America, for the poor folks. He put that tax out there. They're like, oh, but it's health insurance. You got to have health insurance or you pay. Okay, well, they can't afford the health insurance, so now they got to pay for it, so they got no money. The heck's up with that, boy? Man. But you know what the problem is? People vote for these guys because they don't research anything. I remember this guy was all gung-ho, one of the smartest people I know, great friend of mine. And he might be listening to this right now. If he is, he knows I love him. And he was all for Obama. And after Obama got in there, and he couldn't understand why I didn't like him, of course, everybody said, well, you're racist because he's black. I'm like, not really, because his mom was white. So, he's biracial. And I don't care what color he is. I don't care if he was green. If you do a good job, you do a good job. I don't care what party you are. You do a good job, you do something good. I'll give you credit for it. Bill Clinton, never liked that rapist. But you know what? He gave us FMLA, and I like that. That was a good thing. A lot of these guys are schlubs. Richard Nixon, he did a lot of bad stuff. But then again, he threw a couple good things in there. So, everybody has their day. Well, most everybody. Biden never did. But getting back to the thing on track. $93 billion. And then Doge comes in. And what happens there? Everybody gets upset because Elon Musk is in on it. Like I've said a lot of times, Elon Musk, I'm not a fan, but I know too much about him. That'll be another podcast. But I know a lot of people like him. And that's just how it goes. And then it was funny because people that bought the Teslas and were talking about how great Elon Musk was, once he started hanging out with President Trump, they didn't like him anymore. Isn't that weird? And that's the big problem in this country. People vote party lines. They don't think for themselves. Like I was talking about earlier. My little buddy, man, my bro, smart guy. And he didn't think for himself. And after Obama got elected, after about a year of everything coming true that I said was going to happen, he came up and he apologized to me. And he said, I've never felt so stupid in my life. He goes, I can't believe I fell for it. I can't believe I was in with the rest of them. And that's what happens. It's easy to mislead people. It's easy. It's easier now than ever. But they tell you what they're going to do. They never do it. They just say it. And they sprinkle a couple dollars here and there right before election. So people say, hey, that's really great. I was in Detroit one day in the ghetto, which is mainly Detroit. If you ever go, when you go to the ballparks in that area, well, that's nice. But when you go into the real Detroit, it's rough, man. And I feel bad for those people. They got it rough down there. God bless them, though, man. Hang tough, Detroit. I love you, D. Anyway, man, I'm driving through, and it's all abandoned closed businesses. There's this old rickety fence, and on it was Gary Peters for state senator, American, Michigan senator, Democrat. And I'm like, wow, that sign's worth more than these buildings are. He ain't done nothing for Detroit, man. But he's like, oh, yes, I care about black folks. Really? Name one you know. Yeah, okay. You got no... Don't even get me started on these racist crackers. They're some of the worst people you'll ever meet. Now, all these groups got all this money. I want to know who they were. Who was it? Who was controlling these groups? Where's my $93 billion? So people get mad at Elon because he's looking for all this money. Like I said, not a big fan, but I give him credit for trying to find this money. So why is this happens all the time? And here's the deal. Now, the media, the mainstream media, and what you'll read on social media, if you go look up this on Google, you'll find some things out about it, but then they'll bury it. And they'll say, well, it wasn't 93 billion. It was only 43 billion or 75 billion. They'll come up with different numbers like that's a good thing. Really? Okay, it wasn't 93 billion. It was 43 billion. That's still a lot of freaking money to go nowhere. I mean, that's how they account for this? Instead of sitting there going, it's wrong. It shouldn't have happened and we got to find this money. They try to put a spin on it, a positive twist. And then they'll say, well, Joe did this and that. Joe did nothing for this country. Hey, you guys remember Afghanistan when he said it won't be like Vietnam, and it was? I remember that. Flying people out of there off the buildings just like back in Nam. Remember when those boys died in Afghanistan, and he was there looking at his watch? Remember that? And they only show it for a couple seconds, but he looked at his watch several times. And that made those Gold Star dads pretty upset, because I would be too. Your boy's coming home in a wooden overcoat, and he's looking at his watch where he's trying to go. And they try to say, well, Joe was older, he didn't understand. Well, then Joe shouldn't have been leading the free world, right? You call the president the leader of the free world. Do you remember when he debated Trump? And he got done, and they said, Mr. Trump? And he's like, I don't know what he said. I don't think he knows what he said. And he was right. Biden was so incoherent. And afterwards, his wife, Dr. Jill, hey, you're such a good doctor, you put him out there. Woe to her and the family for letting him be like that and parading that guy with dementia around. Woe to them. They'll get what's coming to them someday. Hopefully sooner than later. That's just wrong, you know. That's elder abuse. But so she's telling everybody, he did such a great job. And then they said, well, he's not fit to run for president, but he's still fit to be president and lead the country. Really? You can't run for president? You can't complete a sentence? You can't walk upstairs, but you can run the free world? This is where we're at, America. This is where we're at, people. Man, it's so messed up. I hope they find this $93 billion, and I hope you get I hope you get as upset about it as I am. So, in the meantime, man, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. I love you all, man. Let's spread the information and change the world for the better for everybody.